I know some of you actually clicked on this video because maybe you're considering starting your own YouTube channel, which, if I were to be honest, I don't even know how to say this, but if this are I would say don't do it. Don't do it. If bendizawuthetha kodwa ke i-brand yam, it's all about positive vibes, yayibona. Bottom line. Tell me you're a fan of Kanyisa without telling me you're a fan of Kanyisa. But seriously though, only do it. Like, maybe you don't want to go through this whole video, which I suggest you should because there's a lot, but maybe you just clicked here and you just want to know the answer. You want to just get down to it, because I've clicked on a lot of these kinds of videos and people go on and on and on. Let me not be like those people. I would just say that only do it if you're really, really passionate about it, and if you're willing to go through a lot, and if you're mentally and emotionally stable, then go for it. If you're passionate, mentally and emotionally stable, then go for it. And don't do it because you think you're going to make money from it. Okay? So only if you're passionate, do it. If you're not passionate about it, if you don't want to go through the hassle of it, then don't do it. As simple as that. Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Sunshine Zee, and if you're new here, welcome. Please do consider staying throughout the video, like, comment, and most importantly, please do subscribe if you like the content that you see on this channel. And to my subscribers, as always, I appreciate you. I do hope you're well. I hope the year is treating you well, and let's get into today's video. The reason for today's video, as you would have read the title of today's video, me talking about what it's actually like having a YouTube channel, and I think I'm going to title it The Good, the Bad, and maybe the tricky or the ugly, or we'll see how it goes. But I really just wanted to share my journey. Some people do ask you, well, it's only like people are close who have access to me who have been asking, what's it like, how do you do it? And I think some of the people are just curious, like just generally like, oh, why a YouTube channel? But some people maybe are actually considering it, and some people maybe don't know how YouTube works, and maybe that's why they're asking. First of all, let me just say this: there are like probably a billion videos on how to start a YouTube channel. So if you really want to start a YouTube channel, right here on YouTube, there are so many videos that can help you do that. I myself got help from YouTube about how to how to start a YouTube channel. And after having viewed a lot of videos, I thought I should do my own video. First of all, I feel like it's a rite of passage thing, because I feel like everyone has their own experience and their own view of it. And I think when I was watching those videos, there's things that I felt that they didn't speak about, which I was like, no, I think I want to speak about this in particular. Especially, I think, not to throw any shade, but especially South African YouTubers, I don't think they really go into just how challenging it can be. Well, at least for me, I feel like it can be really challenging, and I think a lot of people think that you can just wake up and do it. Yes, you can, actually, you can. But it is a little bit more complicated than just that. It's a little bit more complicated than just having a phone or a camera and just doing it. Yes, granted, some people literally get away with it and they do it that way. Great for them. But I think if you want to have if you have a particular message that you want to drive, particular content that you would like to get out there, for example, like with me, educational sharing of information, there's a lot of sort of preparation that goes on behind the scenes. And just for somebody such as myself who didn't have any experience of editing and operating a camera and things like that, it was really difficult. So that's why I decided, let me do a video to talk about my experience of having a YouTube channel. So let's start with the good. There is some good to the story. So there's a lot of great reasons that you probably should start a YouTube channel. If you are passionate about something and if there's something that you want to share with people, whether that be your personal life, whether that be advice, fashion hauls, I don't know, like there's like anything and everything, you can do it right here on YouTube. So that's the great thing about YouTube. And just got some notes here. So I think YouTube is a great platform for creators, and not just creators, just people who are doing whatever. I know there's channels where people teach others how to like grow a garden, how to like a lot. I've heard of so many different things. I've actually also heard about some really weird channels. There's this channel with this guy, but he no longer does it. I'll try find it and link it. I don't know if I should, but you might be curious when I speak about it. But this guy will literally sit in front of the camera, actually almost like I am right now, with his legs crossed like this, and he would just smile for like 4 hours straight. How creepy is that? So it's actually quite creepy because there was, I think, one video where he actually, I know this is kind of gross and I don't know why I'm sharing this, but anyways, I started the story. He actually peed on himself while he was like on camera. So I don't know why he didn't stop it and maybe go pee and then come back. Like, so as I said, there's some really weird channels. There's mukbang channels where people eat. There's just all sorts of things. Oh, I wanted to say that I've heard of a channel which I think is really sweet, where this sort of like where this man teaches people, just like his channel is about just teaching people how to do random things, and he says he does it for people who don't have like dads, and I think that's so sweet, so he teaches you how to make, I don't know, use a screwdriver or something. I don't know, I don't really know how to, I don't really care for it, but it's always good to know that if I wanted to know how to use a screwdriver or change a light bulb or just do something handy like that, I could find it right here on YouTube. And I think that's what I love about this platform. You can find anything, how to cook, I think how to is the most popular phrase here on YouTube. How to apply makeup, how to cook, how to bake, whatever, right? But like I said, there's also some weird sides to this platform. But anyways, I really feel like YouTube is a great platform for any kind of person, creative or not. I mean, there's a lot of channels on educational stuff. I use this channel to study for an exam that I had a couple of years ago, and it helped a lot, so the fact that you can have people studying with you, the fact that you can have music on the same platform, I think is absolutely amazing. So that's what I love. And okay, so with regards to starting a channel, one of the good things about starting a channel is that you've got analytics. I think with anything, and I think I've spoken about this, you need to review and know how it's performing, or you know what's happening. Is it working? Is it not working? You know, and I think YouTube analytics are great for that. You know, you can see, okay, how long do people watch the videos, and a lot of you don't watch my entire videos. Don't think I don't see that. I can see how long people view, which parts people view the most, and that's why sometimes it's best to keep everything in the beginning. I know I don't do that because I talk so much, but you know, it's best to keep everything in the beginning, because like the viewership of people clicking is like that high, and then as the video goes, it goes like that. And I think what other people do is that then they just fast forward to the middle, because then you see another spike and then they go all the way to the end. I don't know, I think people are really impatient, or maybe they're too busy to watch the entire thing. I don't know, but you know, that's what you get from the analytics. You can see what's happening. When you're still a small YouTuber like myself, like super tiny, I don't even think I'm even tiny, like at this point I don't know what to call myself, but I don't even think I qualify as a small YouTuber. So what happens is that you don't have a lot of information. So there's some demographic information that I don't have, so I can't see where my audience is from, because I'm still just that tiny. Okay. And the nice thing about YouTube as well is that you don't need fancy equipment, contrary to what you might believe. Okay, if you have nice equipment, obviously your video quality is going to be that much better, right? However, you don't need it. You can just use your smartphone to start a channel. So as long as you have an email address or YouTube account, you can start a YouTube channel. And another thing that I think is amazing about having a YouTube channel and starting a YouTube channel is that anyone from any part of the world, well, except maybe some certain parts of the world where maybe they've banned YouTube, but anybody can access your videos, right? So I think it's exciting. It's both exciting, but also just sort of gives you a little bit of anxiety, because you're thinking, am I good enough for people to be seeing me? But trust me. So let me tell you a quick story. So while I was doing the research of, you know, how to start a YouTube channel, and all of these things, one of the things I came across was a guy who said something, and I remember it made me feel like, oh, this guy, but at the same time I think it helped me a lot. So what he said was, start the channel because nobody's even gonna see it. Right? And I was like, oh my goodness. And I think it's because a lot of us think you're going to start a YouTube channel and all of a sudden you are an instant star or everybody knows you. No. Unfortunately, it doesn't always go that way. I'm actually going to get into it. With some people it kind of goes that way, but I'll let you know why. But for the average Joe or the average Jane, just an average person, it's not likely that a lot of people are going to see that first video. And as much as you might distribute it as far and wide as possible, but the chances are not a lot of people are going to see it. So don't think of it as, I need to be perfect, I need to, like there's a lot of things that you think you might need to have, but in reality you don't need all those things. So let's get into the bad. Okay, I don't like the word bad, but these are things that unfortunately you have to deal with when you do have a YouTube channel. And the first one is you need to have data. And so as much as you don't need a lot of fancy equipment, you do need a phone, and you need data on that phone, right? Not necessarily to record, but to upload the videos. That's just the reality of it. And I feel that as somebody who lives in this country, in South Africa, data is expensive, and data is something that I really honestly feel is a privilege at this point. And not a lot of people have that privilege to have data, especially data that it would take to upload a video, depending on obviously the video quality and just the size of the video and all of that. But still, the fact that, so I don't have estimates of how much data it would take to upload an average video, simply because there's so many variables. But the fact that you need data, which not a lot of South Africans have access to, I don't know if you can use like free Wi-Fi, because I know they've got like limits with that. So I don't know if maybe there's anyone who is operating the YouTube channel using free Wi-Fi. I haven't come across any. So I think that's just something that we don't talk enough about, and that's just the reality of having a YouTube channel. The bad also is that I think people are aware that you can earn from having a YouTube channel. A lot of people are aware of this, I think. I don't know, but I think a lot of people are aware of this because they've seen the big YouTubers and they've seen that, oh, these people are earning, these people have partnerships. But a lot of people don't really know what it would take to get to that point. Okay, so there's I don't want to say just two methods, because there's probably more, but there's two main methods of earning through having a YouTube channel, which the one way is partnerships and collaborations, or somebody sponsoring your video, and the other way is AdSense, where you put ads in the videos, right? So what I've noticed is that they sometimes do put ads in the videos, such as maybe, I don't know if you watching my video and you see an ad at the beginning of the video, YouTube can do that, but I'm not earning anything from that, so feel free to skip if they're doing it, right? However, it's only at a certain level will I start earning. So it's only when I have 1,000 subscribers plus, so these two go together, 1,000 subscribers plus 4,000 watch hours, like 4,000 watch hours, which I think is absolutely such a mountain. It is a lot of hours that you should have, and I think it's within a period of a year. So I don't exactly know how it works, but yeah, if you get the 4,000 watch hours in a 10-year period, I don't think it counts. So that's the bad part about it, right? So as much as people think that YouTube is a place where you make money, no. And that's why I said that don't do it unless you're really passionate about what it is that you're doing, because it could take you a long time before you earn, or you might not even want to earn. I think that's the other thing that for me personally is not a driving factor, and one of the reasons is because I read a book by, I know her name is Elizabeth Gilbert. I'll attach the name of the book here somewhere, and she said something so beautiful where she spoke about how as a creative we need to try not make our creative gifts pay us. And I felt that that's so relevant, especially in the society and the culture that we are in right now, where a lot of people feel like if I'm gonna do something, it needs to pay me. But there's just something about you only wanting to be paid. And in that book she speaks a lot about her being a writer and how she was a writer for many years, and then she was waitressing. Waitressing was her main job, and she had other jobs as well, and writing was just that creative outlet for her. And she's so happy that for those years she didn't force her writing, that creative gift, to pay her, because it might have never paid her. It paid her because you might remember her, she's the author of Eat, Love, Pray. It paid big time, right? And even after that there's a lot of things that came out, and she's now a world-renowned author, and she does talks and whatever, right? So it eventually paid her. But she was talking about how it might have never paid her, but she would have still done it. And I think that's how I feel about having something like a YouTube channel or whatever platform you use to create. don't make it about that thing paying you. If it does, and I mean, hey, if in a year's time my YouTube channel starts paying me, I'm not saying I'm not going to be grateful for it. However, I need to be willing to do this whether or not it pays me. And that's the one question you need to ask yourself. Are you willing to do it even if it doesn't pay you? Okay, so because if you are really wanting for it to pay you, you're just gonna try and get subscribers. And I've seen people, you know, try get followings, and they do all sorts of crazy things. Perhaps it's because they have the time. Honestly, I really do not have that sort of energy to try and trick people. People clickbait, people do crazy things. And I mean, there's things that you could do. So for example, I know a lot of channels that have pranks, and people enjoy pranks. I'm not a prank person, but you know, people enjoy pranks, and you know, people do all sorts of things. And I think there's a difference between doing it for fun and doing it for clout. So some people are doing things for clout, and that's just not what I would recommend you do to get subscribers or followings, you know, whichever platform. I don't think it's worth it, you know. So I've seen people just really do some odd things. I think be true to yourself. So if, for example, you are like me, right, and I hope somebody who's watching it maybe can relate, and you don't have a lot of jokes, and you're not a prankster, and I don't know, maybe not so good at eating in front of the camera, then don't force yourself to do that. Or maybe you don't have a lot of crazy stories. I actually kind of feel like I have a lot of stories, but I don't think I'm ever, I don't know, we'll see. I don't think I'm ever gonna get into story times, because it's not stories that maybe I necessarily want to talk about, and not because I don't want to talk about it, but that's kind of not the brand of this channel. But we'll see, maybe some other time I'll decide to share. But even though some of the stories I have are a bit crazy, I've watched a lot of story times and I'm like, people have lived. It's either it's a bit exaggerated or people have really lived, you know. So anyways, let me get back on track. So another bad, it's not a bad, like I said, maybe a bad is a wrong word, but another thing about YouTube, as mentioned with the 1,000 subscribers and all these watch hours, is having to ask people to subscribe. So I myself thought I didn't have to ask people, and I've come across people who I've had this conversation with where they say, so do you have to ask people to subscribe? And I said, unfortunately, yes. So if you watch a lot of videos about how to start a channel, all of them will tell you you need to ask people to subscribe and share your content and like your content and engage with your content. And that's because of mostly the algorithm, which I'll get into. The algorithm is the part where I say the ugly, right? But you actually do. It's been proven that, you know, people do not subscribe. People forget, and if you don't say to them, please subscribe, they forget to subscribe. So they could be watching your content and not subscribing. I think some people are just, I don't know, watching, and I feel like, I don't know, maybe people sometimes think that if they subscribe you're gonna earn more money, and they don't want you to earn money. I don't know, you know. But how I approach it personally, I feel like, first of all, I'm not entitled to you subscribing. So yes, I do say please consider subscribing, and I say that, you know, from a good place, you know. I don't want to pressure you. I don't want to say you must subscribe. You know, I want you to consider it, because it depends. Do you even like the content? Because you might not like the content, okay? So it really depends. Does it resonate with you? Do consider subscribing. Do consider sharing the content. But as I said, I really don't feel that I'm entitled to it, and I think that has helped a lot, because what I've found is that people do not share your content. People hardly like your videos, and they watch it, but they don't like it, and they're not it's not something that I'm entitled. It's not a must for them to like the content, even when they do, you know. So, and I think it's because I don't attach my value, or I don't attach whether or not I'm going to continue with this channel based on the likes and the views, right? However, I'm not gonna lie, it does kind of make it difficult. Imagine having to record video after video and nobody's engaging, nobody's liking, people are not watching the entire thing. I mean, I'm only human, okay? I'm only human with a human heart, with emotions. And remember what I said about emotional stability, and that hurts. It does. I'll be honest with you, that hurts. But I can't force you to do something. But what I can say to you is that just know that every time you watch my video, every time you like my video, every time you comment on my video, every time you share it with somebody else, you really helping me not just grow my channel, which yes, that's a good thing, but you helping me have the confidence to create more of these, because it's really difficult to try and create when you feel like nobody's really appreciating it, nobody's watching it, you know. So once again, consider subscribing, liking, commenting, and sharing this content. Okay, so let's get into the tricky. So the tricky part about YouTube, I did say you don't need fancy equipment, so you don't necessarily need the ring light unless the lighting where you are, where you stay, or where you are filming is really horrible. Then maybe a ring light or some sort of light might be necessary, you know, because it's really important that people see you. Whatever it is that you'll be doing, it's really quite important that people can be able to see you. So lighting can be a factor. I currently still use natural lighting, and that's why I chose this room, because I felt like it was the one that gives me the most lighting and better lighting than the other rooms. But hey, it's tricky, guys, because even now it's changing slightly and I keep looking up, so sometimes you catch me looking a little bit. It's because I can actually see the clouds gathering and it's messing up with my natural light. So that's very tricky, is getting your lighting correct. So but as I said, the fact that you're already having to spend, and that's why I said you need to be passionate about this, because remember, now you're spending on things but nobody's paying you, right? So you've already maybe, let's say, spent on you're definitely going to spend on data, and now another expense is lighting, you know. And okay, so I wrote here, not feeling it. A tricky part about filming is that sometimes you just don't really feel like it, and you just don't feel like doing it. And I would say don't force yourself. If ever you get to a point where you just don't feel like it, don't force yourself. But the problem is that perhaps you have you have committed, you know, to your subscribers that I'll release videos every week, and now a week goes by, there's no video. Hey, and I know consistency is key. I'm actually going to speak a little bit about consistency, but I really don't think it's worth it forcing yourself to, you know, film when you're just really not feeling it. So it's a tricky part about filming, is that, you know, sometimes you just don't feel like it. Sometimes you don't even have the time. I don't know how people do YouTube channels and have full-time jobs and families and all of these things. They need to tell me how they do it, because I don't know, right? And another tricky part about YouTube is the fact that I am currently just talking to a lens. Think about that. So I'm talking so passionately, but I'm talking to a lens. I'm not talking to anybody else. There's no audience. So in my mind, I'm I'm imagining people watching me, but in reality there is nobody in this room. And that's very tricky, right? Because you don't know, should I raise my voice, should I not? So it's almost like acting in front of the mirror, maybe, somewhat. I think something like that. But that's very tricky as well, is talking into a lens. Another thing is that if you have a camera like mine and it has a monitor, you constantly, it's so difficult for me not to look into the monitor and to look into the lens, because I'll admit I'm one of those people, even when I'm in a video call or a Zoom meeting, I am looking at myself, okay? So it's really difficult and tricky to try not look at the monitor, but to look into the lens. But I do think cameras with monitors are the best, because you get to just sort of see how it is that it's looking before you start speaking. And yeah, so that's the tricky part about having a YouTube channel and doing all of this. Now, lastly, the ugly part of having a YouTube channel. Number one, editing. Let me tell you, not enough people talk about editing. I don't know, I feel like anybody who has a YouTube channel and has to edit their own, because you know, some don't have to, and I really understand why. As soon as people start making good money from it, they get editors to, you know, they outsource the editing part of it. I get it, I totally get it, right? Because all of us who are editing our own material, we need therapy. Like, seriously, check on us. We are not okay. Check on us. I promise you, it is a monster. Well, personally, I think some people maybe do enjoy it, and you know, so some people might not agree with me on this point, but child, editing is it's fun, right? There's an element of it that's fun, but there's another element of it that's so having to prepare for a video, you know, writing down your notes, whatever your process is, and actually picking a time to film, you know, which is most likely a time when it's not too noisy outside, maybe where the sun is out. Even if you are using a ring light, you would still be sort of dependent on natural light, you know, just because the more light the better, right? So picking a time and, you know, getting everything right and filming is just the one leg of it. There's still editing to do. And yeah, so, and I think the one thing that I didn't find, you know, when I watched a lot of other videos about how to start a YouTube channel, is a lot of people promise, and I'm not gonna do this, promise to teach you how to edit. But I don't know, maybe I never followed up, but I didn't see any videos where they teach you how to edit. And editing is really not, it's not that difficult, but I think it depends. I think it depends on what kind of a person you are. I didn't find it to be difficult. I learned how to edit on YouTube. I didn't find it to be difficult. It's just a very tedious task. It's really, really tedious. You're going to watch yourself, you're going to critique yourself, you're going to hate certain parts, but now you can't cut them out. It's a lot. It's a lot. You're going to hear your voice over and over again. Fortunately, I don't mind hearing my voice, but it is very, very tedious. If there's one reason that you needed not to start a YouTube channel, it's editing. The fact that you have to edit, unless you don't have to, so unless you're going to just get somebody to edit for you, then I think you'll be okay. And the second thing that's really ugly about having a YouTube channel is the algorithm. I've already touched on this. So I I'm not the best at explaining how the algorithm works, because I actually don't even know how the algorithm works. But it's really just something where if nobody engages your video, YouTube is not going to show it to anybody else. So YouTube just says, okay, this is trash, or it's not good enough. So that's why it's so important for people to engage with your video, to comment, to like, because YouTube uses that. So YouTube judges me on how many people have viewed it, how many people have liked it, how many people have disliked it, how many people are commenting and engaging. So that's why you have to constantly remind people to engage with the video, because that's what YouTube uses in order to suggest it to somebody else, right? So for example, if I title this video how to start a YouTube channel, as I said, there's like a billion of such videos, right? I'm not going to be at the very top if you did not like this video. But if a lot of people like this video, then I'll be somewhere towards the top, right? Depending, I mean, obviously the most viewed video will be right at the top. So I hope that makes sense. So algorithm is really just a monster with regards to having a YouTube channel. And I've heard people say, I get your content out there, and I agree. I think, you know, you need to get your content out there as much as you possibly can, but sometimes there's only so much that you can do. Earlier on, I spoke about how some people do have, they meet the target. So 4,000 watch hours, they meet it like that. The 1,000 subscribers, they meet it like that. I know somebody recently who started a YouTube channel, and in the first day they had over 800 subscribers in the first day with the first video. And why? It's because this person already had a huge following from their Instagram. So, and actually how I found their YouTube channel was via their Instagram. And I think that's the reality of it. If we were to be really honest, and I wanted to speak about this, especially when I speak about the ugly side of having a YouTube channel. If we were to be honest, if nobody knows you, if you are a plain John or a plain Jane, and nobody knows you, nobody knows about you, and you don't have massive following on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, then you starting a channel, you're going to have to start at the very bottom, right? And that's not nice. It's not nice, and it kind of is not fair, you know. But I use the word fair loosely because, well, you could say, well, it is fair because those people did already have a following from a different platform. But you know, if you look at it, it's almost like a shortcut, you know, where they took their following from a different platform, you know, to ask them to subscribe to their YouTube channel. So in their first week, they've already sort of reached the target, and you know, probably like in the first month they'll start earning from it, you know. And yes, like I'm saying, it's not that it's not fair, because they would have worked hard to get that following on that different platform. But you know, my thing is, people will come and say you need to work hard and blah blah blah, and did you really work hard on your YouTube channel? You worked hard at a different platform, yes, but you didn't work hard on the YouTube channel, I mean on the YouTube platform, because you already had a following. And you know, I don't know. So there's a thing about listening to people sometimes it's like, well, you know, you're not best suited to speak about this, because you know, people are known already and then they start channels. I think we saw it during lockdown, a lot of celebrities tried to start channels. I don't know where those channels are now. I need to check. You know, because a lot of them started channels, but what happened to those channels? And you know, within days these channels were sitting on like 10,000 subscribers, you know, because people already are familiar with that face, people already know that person, and people were eager to see you know, the other side of that person. Because I think, you know, let's say for example it was an actress, you only see them on a particular television program, and perhaps people thought, oh, if they have a YouTube channel, I get to see them at home. Because I think a lot of people really want to see how celebrities or how these popular people live, you know, when they're not in front of the camera. So a lot of them had a lot of following instantly. But where are they now? Like I said, you need to be passionate about it, and perhaps they just got too busy for it. But like I said, the reality is that it's not the same. The journey is not the same for everyone. So you might be watching this and you want to start a YouTube channel. Just keep all of these things in mind, that if you are not very well known and you don't have a huge following in your other platforms, it's not to say you can't start it. I started it. I don't have huge followings in my other platforms, my social media pages. However, just keep that in mind, that means that you're going to work that much harder. Well, if what you want is to get more of a following. But like I said, I really don't mind if one person watches this video. I'm used to it by now. Like, you know, I think on average I get like 3 likes on my videos, but I'm cool with it. Why? Because I'm not doing it to get the likes. I'm just doing it because I really love doing it, and I'm really passionate about whatever it is that I talk about, and that's why my videos are always like so super long. So the last thing, to just wrap it up, is consistency. So everybody, I think almost every video that talks about starting a YouTube channel will talk about consistency. And consistency is something that is better said than done. It's really so nice to say, oh, I'm gonna release a video once a week. Or, you know, I remember I used to watch small YouTubers and I would be like, what happened to them? You know, because they would be gone for like 4-6 months. I'd be like, what happened to them? But you know what, I get it now. I get it. I think maybe sometimes they needed a break, because like I said, it's a lot that you're putting in, a lot of your own energy. You know, you must remember putting in energy, even just recording this video. And perhaps they saw that not much is coming from it, I'm not getting enough engagement, and perhaps they just needed a break. So I honestly understand why people are not as consistent. And yes, I think we all want to be consistent. I want to be consistent, but it's really not always practical. Sometimes you have other things. Sometimes there's a family matter that might come up and you're not able to record, or you're not able to edit. As I said, there's just a lot that happens before you actually see this video on YouTube. I would have had to upload it and all of these things, right? So yeah, consistency is key, but it's a lot more difficult to actually practice it. But we hope to get better at it. And yeah, I think I said quite a lot. But I hope this was helpful for especially anybody who's considering starting a YouTube channel, or just, you know, informative for anybody who might have been wondering what goes into it, what goes, you know, what do we talk about when we say, oh, it's a lot of work. You know, I think I always say to people, it's like a full-time job. If you were wondering, what do I mean by that? All of these things that I've spoken about and more are what we have to go through. Another thing actually about YouTube is that the notifications don't come in on time. I don't know, and I've seen even with other channels, I've seen their subscribers complaining that, you know, the notifications don't come in on time sometimes. I don't know, and I know that happens a lot with my channel as well. You know, where I'll be talking to a friend and they'll be like, where's your video? And I'm like, it's up. And they said, well, I haven't seen the notification. So I don't know what is happening with that. I actually have reported that to YouTube, that I wasn't too happy about that. They sent me a survey to say how has it been so far, which I guess that's nice of them to do. But yeah, that's what goes into it. I don't even think I said everything, but I think I said everything that I wanted to say for now. But yeah, I hope this was helpful and informative, and thank you for watching right until the end. I truly appreciate it, and as I said, I really do appreciate any engagement that I can get from you. So please do consider engaging, sharing this content as well. Thank you so much. Until next time, love and light to you all.